Okay, next up on the Aurora 9 is P-mixes. Now, the reason I did kind of P-mixes after is because, as you've seen now, the gyro menu, the governor menu, the swash to throttle, rudder to throttle, in the swash mix, the calibration menu, all of these are mixes, all right? Now, the cool thing about this radio is they built in some of those mixes for you, like the swash to throttle, the rudder to throttle, the things I just mentioned. They're built in. On other radios, none of that's there. If you wanted to do that yourself, you would go into a P-mix and do it. And you could get the same functionality by setting up a P-mix, and I'll show you in a minute. So those are custom built-in mixes for specific functions. P-mixes allow you to mix whatever you want to whatever you want. All right, the first 5 in the list are linear mixes. The last 3 are mixes in which you get points and you can set a curve. So let's just go into the first one and activate it. All right, now you pick which is the master, which is the slave. So I'll just say, okay. In the example I just showed, say, swash to throttle, let's pretend we were going to make one of those. I'd go aileron to throttle. All right, so there's aileron to throttle. All right, now that I've done that, I can back out. Now, in order to go in here and make the changes, I have to actually highlight it and hit select. And this is going to give me a linear adjustment. As you see, it's left and right. And when I move my aileron, because aileron's the master, I'm going to be putting some aileron into the throttle. So just like that swash to throttle, it's the same kind of thing, but this is linear. So on the left side, when I increase, all right, it moves the end, and it's a linear mix out from center. And, of course, the right side, it's a linear mix out from center. Oops. I think oh, by the way, that is one thing I forgot to do. 1 second here. Let me reset all this. If you've got one of these and you press the number, sometimes you can get this to select both, in which, when you change it, it changes both of them. I just learned that, by the way, which is interesting. All right, so anyway, that's the mix. Now again, just like, and the reason I saved this for last is just like all the mixes I've already shown, you can have them separated by your idle ups. You can assign a switch, all right, to it. And in some cases, you may be able to assign a mixer. In other cases, like on the linear ones, you only have trim apply. And this is what, again, I've talked about this on some of the other menus. If you want the trim to be involved with the mix as well. So on an aileron mix, when I adjust the aileron trim, do I want the aileron trim to also affect the mix? All right, so you can decide whether that's on or off. And of course, on a linear, you set your switch positions on where you want it on or off. All right? So again, so that would give me a bunch of different numbers. I could have different numbers for all my idle ups, along with a different set of numbers based on if I added a switch. Making sense? Including turning it on or off. All right, so that is the linear mixes. The non-linear mixes, we can go in and activate, and we'll do the same thing. Aileron to, say, throttle as an example, so master slave, and then we come in here and we select it. Now in this case, it's not linear. I have points, so when I move my aileron, I can actually adjust a point. As you can see, there's 1 point change. So I can make it mix, and then as I go over more, it takes the mix back away. All right, something like that. Again, just like all the other stuff I've shown, you can have it tied to your different conditions or separated. All right, so you can get a bunch of different values based on your condition. As you can see, if I change one to normal, there's idle up 1, so on and so forth. Additionally, again, you can assign a switch yet again. Well, you switch C. All right, and you can choose its on-off position and whether trim is applied. All right, so now I could get a bunch of other different values based on my idle up and the other switch position. So again, you could have if you had it tied to idle up, you could get 3 positions here. All right, including hold, by the way, including hold, and you could now have another 3 positions or settings here. So you could have a total of 4 times 3. All right, so that's just showing you what happens when you set a switch, etc., etc. And we'll just go back out of here and inhibit this. All right, so that is a non-linear mix that you can use as well, so understand that. So there's 5 linear mixes, 3 non-linear mixes. All right, so that's P mixes, and we'll continue on.